The silent watchers respond. The communications array on Zephyrian Trade Federation Station Alpha buzzed with routine transmissions. Commander Krill adjusted his forearms across multiple control panels, monitoring trade routes and shipping manifests with practiced efficiency. Another boring day in the outer sectors, where the most exciting events were usually delayed cargo shipments or minor navigation disputes. Then the emergency beacon shattered the peaceful monotony. The piercing alarm cut through every conversation in the command center. Krill's compound eyes widened as priority alerts flooded his screens. Emergency transmissions were rare in this sector. Emergency transmissions with maximum priority codes were virtually unheard of. "All stations, we have a code-red distress signal," announced Operations Officer Vex, her tentacles dancing frantically across her control surface. "Origin point is Mining Station Omega-7, grid reference 847 Delta." Krill's scales rippled with confusion. Omega-7 was a small human operation, barely worth noting on galactic charts. The humans had been quiet neighbors for over a century, keeping to themselves and causing no trouble. They ran their mining operations efficiently, paid their Federation taxes on time, and rarely requested assistance. The transmission crackled through the speakers, filled with static and panic. "This is Mining Station Omega-7 to any Federation vessels. We are under attack by unknown forces. Repeat, we are under massive attack. Our shields are failing. They came out of nowhere with ships we've never seen before." The voice belonged to Director Thomas Kane, the station administrator. Krill had met him once during a routine inspection, a calm, professional human who managed his operation with quiet competence. Now that same voice shook with desperate urgency. "Our defense platforms are down. They're targeting our civilian sections. We have families here, including children in the education wing. Anyone receiving this, we need immediate assistance. Our estimated time before complete defensive failure is 90 minutes. The transmission dissolved into static, then resumed with different voices in the background. Someone shouted about hull breaches. Another voice reported weapon systems offline. Then the signal cut to silence. Krill stared at his screens in disbelief. The humans were under attack, but by whom? The outer sectors had been peaceful for decades. No major powers had territorial disputes in that region. "Sir," called communications specialist Zara, her voice tight with confusion. "The distress signal contains some kind of additional encoding we don't recognize." "What kind of encoding?" Krill demanded. "Unknown protocol, sir. It's definitely not standard Federation emergency codes. This appears to be military-grade encryption, but it's unlike anything in our databases. The signature pattern suggests it's very old, possibly pre-Federation." That made no sense. The humans at Omega-7 were miners and their families. Why would miners possess ancient military encryption systems? Krill ordered the computer to run deep archive searches while he replayed the message. Something bothered him about the transmission beyond the obvious terror. Underneath the panic, he detected something else in the human voices. A strange undertone that made his scales prickle with unease. It wasn't just fear, it was anticipation. "Sir, we're getting additional signals," Zara reported, her voice rising with alarm. "Automated responses to the distress call, but they're coming from everywhere." "Explain everywhere," Krill ordered. "I mean exactly that, sir. Deep space monitoring posts that don't appear on any Federation charts. Installations in asteroid fields, nebula clouds, and empty sectors, where we thought nothing existed. They've been completely dark for decades, but now they're all coming online simultaneously." On the main tactical display, tiny dots of light began appearing across the galactic map. Each dot represented a signal source that had just activated in response to the human distress call. There were dozens of them, then hundreds, spreading across multiple sectors like stars awakening from a long sleep. Krill's breathing apparatus worked harder as stress hormones flooded his system. "Get me a priority channel to Federation Command. Emergency protocols." Within minutes, High Admiral Thoron appeared on the main screen. The elderly Zephyrian's usually calm demeanor showed cracks of concern as he reviewed the tactical display. "Commander Krill, explain what I'm seeing," Thoron demanded. Sir, we received a distress call from human miners under attack. The signal triggered responses from hundreds of hidden installations across the galaxy. We had no idea these facilities existed. Thoron's secondary arms gestured with agitation. That's impossible. Our intelligence reports indicate the humans dismantled their military infrastructure after the hegemony wars ended 150 years ago. They withdrew to their colonies and ceased all military activities. Sir, I don't think they dismantled anything, Krill said carefully. I think they just learned to hide it better. The tactical display continued updating as more signal sources came online. The pattern was becoming clear. Every major shipping lane, every strategic asteroid field, every important nebula cluster had hidden human installations. They had been watching everything, recording everything, waiting. What's the current status of the attack on Omega-7? Thoron asked. No contact for 27 minutes, sir. Based on their last transmission, their defenses should have failed completely by now. And these hidden installations? Massive encrypted communications traffic on frequencies we can't decode. The volume suggests coordinated military operations on a scale we've never seen. Thoron closed his multiple eyes and remained silent for long moments. When he opened them again, his expression had hardened with grim understanding. Commander, identify the attacking forces immediately. I need to know who just declared war on humanity without realizing it. Sir? The humans didn't withdraw from galactic affairs 150 years ago, Krill. They went underground. They've been building something in secret all this time, and now someone has triggered their response. The display showed new developments. Long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures moving through hyperspace toward the Omega-7 sector. Whatever was coming moved faster than anything in Federation databases. Sir, incoming priority transmission, Zara announced. It's from the human government. Direct diplomatic channel. A new face appeared on Krill's screen. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez, the official human representative to the Galactic Federation. She looked exactly as she had during routine diplomatic functions, but her dark eyes held an intensity that hadn't been there before. Admiral Thoron, Commander Krill, she said with crisp professionalism. I believe you've detected our response to the attack on mining station Omega-7. Ambassador, Thoron replied carefully, we're somewhat surprised by the scope of your response capabilities. We've always preferred peaceful coexistence, Admiral, but we've never been defenseless. Someone has chosen to attack human civilians, including children. This requires our attention. Who is attacking Omega-7? Krill asked. Long-range reconnaissance identifies the attackers as Vrak Empire battle groups. Apparently, they believed Omega-7 was an easy target for resources and slave labor. The Vrak Empire. Krill's scales went cold. The Vraks were notorious raiders and slavers from the galactic edge, but they usually targeted primitive worlds or isolated outposts. They must have seen Omega-7's small profile and assumed it was defenseless. Ambassador, Thoron said slowly, the Vrak Empire has significant military assets. Are you certain your response will be adequate? Rodriguez smiled, and the expression sent chills through both Krill and Thoron. It wasn't the smile of someone hoping for the best. It was the smile of someone who knew exactly what was about to happen. Admiral, we've been preparing for this conversation for 150 years. The Vrak Empire has approximately 43 minutes to withdraw from Omega-7 and return any captured humans. After that, we will consider them in violation of the Colonial Protection Protocols. What are the Colonial Protection Protocols? Krill asked. Something we hoped we'd never need to implement, Rodriguez replied. But every human colony is under the protection of the Terran Defense Network. An attack on one is an attack on all. The display showed more energy signatures accelerating toward Omega-7. The readings were off the charts, suggesting ships of unprecedented size and power. How many vessels are you deploying? Thoron asked. Enough, Rodriguez said simply. We've also sent a direct communication to the Vrak Emperor. We've informed him that he has one opportunity to end this peacefully. After that, we'll end it ourselves. And if he refuses? Rodriguez's smile grew wider and considerably more frightening. Then the galaxy will remember why the Terran Defense Force was never actually disbanded. We just learned to be more subtle. The transmission ended, leaving Krill staring at tactical displays, showing a galaxy that was suddenly much more dangerous than anyone had realized. Hidden human installations continued coming online, revealing a network of military power that had been invisible for generations. Somewhere in the darkness between stars, humanity's true strength was awakening after a century and a half of patient waiting, and the Vrak Empire had judded. Set made the mistake of threatening the one thing that would guarantee humanity's full attention: their children. The galaxy was about to discover what happened when you poked a sleeping giant that had spent 150 years learning how to fight better. Part 2. The Juggernaut Unleashes. The Vrak Emperor's response to humanity's ultimatum was predictably arrogant. "We do not negotiate with inferior species," came the reply through diplomatic channels. "The human mining facility will be stripped of resources and its inhabitants relocated to serve Vrak interests. Any interference will be met with total annihilation." Ambassador Rodriguez received the message in her office aboard the hidden command station orbiting Earth's moon. She closed her eyes for a moment, thinking of the children trapped in Omega-7's education wing, then opened a secure channel to Fleet Command. "Admiral Chen, the Vrak Empire has declined our generous offer. Please proceed with Operation Thunderbolt." 3,000 light-years away, Admiral Sarah Chen smiled grimly as she received the authorization. Around her, the bridge of the TNS Retribution hummed with barely contained energy. The massive vessel had been hidden in the hollow core of an asteroid for 8 decades, waiting for this moment. "All stations, this is Admiral Chen. We are weapons-free. Show them what humanity has been building while the galaxy slept." The first surprise came when human ships began dropping out of hyperspace around Omega-7, but these weren't the lumbering cargo vessels or simple patrol craft that other species had occasionally glimpsed. These were warships that moved like nothing the Vrak forces had ever encountered. The lead vessel, TNS Phantom Strike, seemed to flicker in and out of existence as it approached. Vrak sensors couldn't maintain target locks as the human ship phased between dimensions, using technology that didn't exist according to galactic physics. "Vrak Fleet, this is Captain James Morrison of the Terran Defense Force," came the transmission. "You are ordered to cease hostilities immediately and withdraw from human territory." The Vrak Battle Group commander, General Skaroth, laughed as he surveyed his forces. 12 heavy cruisers, 47 destroyers, and 3 orbital bombardment platforms, more than enough to handle whatever primitive ships the humans might possess. "Human insects, you face the might of the Vrak Third Fleet. Surrender now, and we may allow some of you to live as slaves." Morrison's reply was calm and professional. "General, you have 10 seconds to begin withdrawal. After that, we will consider you a clear and present danger to human civilians." 10 seconds, Skaroth roared. "I'll give you 10 seconds to watch your pathetic ships die. All units, open fire." The Vrak fleet unleashed a devastating barrage of plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes, enough firepower to level a small moon concentrated on the human vessels. None of it hit anything. The human ships moved through the weapons fire like ghosts, their dimensional phase technology rendering them untouchable, but their return fire was very real indeed. The TNS Phantom Strike fired a single weapon. A beam of pure energy that seemed to cut through space itself struck the Vrak flagship's shields. The barriers that should have absorbed the attack simply ceased to exist, and the beam continued into the ship's hull. General Skaroth watched in horror as his flagship's armor plating began dissolving at the molecular level. Whatever the humans had fired wasn't just destroying his ship, it was unmaking it, reducing matter to component atoms. "All units, concentrate fire on the lead human vessel," he screamed into his communicator. But the other human ships had begun their own attacks. The TNS Ghostwalker launched a spread of missiles that ignore the laws of physics, passing through solid matter to detonate inside Vrak ships' reactor cores. The TNS Shadowbane fired some kind of gravitational weapon that compressed 3 Vrak destroyers into basketball-sized spheres of ultra-dense matter. On the bridge of the Retribution, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with satisfaction. Decades of secret research and development were paying off spectacularly. While other species had been focused on incremental improvements to existing technology, humanity had been rewriting the fundamental rules of warfare. "Admiral, we're receiving signals from other VRAC forces throughout the sector," reported Communications Officer Torres. "They're calling for reinforcements." "Let them come," Chen replied. "It's time the galaxy understood what happens when you threaten human children." The battle for Omega-7 lasted exactly 17 minutes. When it was over, the VRAC Third Fleet had been completely destroyed, with only a handful of escape pods surviving to tell the tale. The human ships hadn't suffered so much as a scratch on their hulls. But the real shock came when more human vessels arrived. Not dozens, but thousands. Ships of every size and configuration, from sleek fighters to massive dreadnoughts that dwarfed anything in galactic fleets. They had been hidden in plain sight for 150 years, disguised as asteroids, space debris, and abandoned hulks. Director Thomas Kane stood in Omega-7's command center, watching through reinforced viewports as human rescue ships docked with his station. His family was safe, his people were alive, and the attackers had been annihilated with casual efficiency. A figure in advanced combat armor approached him. The helmet retracted, revealing a woman with gray-streaked hair and kind eyes. "Director Kane, I'm Colonel Maria Santos, Terran Defense Force. Are you and your people all right?" Kane nodded, still somewhat stunned. "We're fine, thanks to you, but I have to ask, we're just minors. Why did humanity respond with such overwhelming force?" A figure in advanced combat armor approached him. The helmet retracted, revealing a woman with gray-streaked hair and kind eyes. "Director Kane, I'm Colonel Maria Santos, Terran Defense Force. Are you and your people all right?" Kane nodded, still somewhat stunned. "We're fine, thanks to you. But I have to ask, we're just minors. Why did humanity respond with such overwhelming force?" Santos smiled, and Kane saw the same protective fierceness that had terrified Ambassador Rodriguez's diplomatic contacts. "Director, every human colony is precious to us. Every human life matters. We've spent 150 years building the capabilities to make sure no one ever successfully threatens our people again. But the rest of the galaxy thinks humanity withdrew from military activities." "We let them think that," Santos replied. "It's easier to maintain peace when potential enemies don't realize how thoroughly they're outmatched. But attacking our civilians crosses a line that can't be uncrossed." News of the Omega-7 incident spread through the galaxy at the speed of quantum communication. The story grew more incredible with each retelling. The humans had revealed military technology decades ahead of anything known to galactic science. They had destroyed a major VRAC battle group without taking casualties, and their hidden fleet was massive beyond imagination. On the Zephyrian Trade Federation command station, Admiral Thoron stared at intelligence reports that made no sense. Human installations were revealing themselves across the galaxy, dropping camouflage systems that had hidden them for generations. Every major trade route, every strategic location, every potential flashpoint had been under human observation. "How long have they been watching us?" he asked his intelligence chief. "Based on the installation dates we're detecting, sir, all of it. They've been recording every diplomatic meeting, every military movement, every secret agreement for over a century." Thoron's compound eyes closed in understanding. The humans hadn't withdrawn from galactic affairs. They had become the galaxy's silent guardians, watching and waiting for threats to emerge. The VRAC Empire's response to their fleet's destruction was swift and predictable. Emperor Voth declared total war on humanity, promising to cleanse the galaxy of the human infestation. The war lasted 6 days. By the end, the VRAC Empire no longer existed as a political entity. Their worlds had been liberated, their fleets reduced to scrap metal, and their leadership captured for war crimes trials. The human response had been so overwhelming, so technologically superior, that resistance became impossible. Other galactic powers took notice. The hegemony, which had fought humanity to a standstill 150 years earlier, quietly began diplomatic overtures. The Stellar Consortium canceled several planned military exercises. Trade federations started offering humanity preferential agreements. Ambassador Rodriguez found herself fielding requests for meetings from every major power in the galaxy. They all wanted the same thing: assurance that humanity wouldn't turn its attention to them next. During one such meeting with the Galactic Council, High Counselor Zephyron asked the question that was on everyone's mind. "Ambassador, what does humanity want from the galaxy?" Rodriguez's answer was simple and terrifying in its sincerity. "The same thing we've always wanted, Counselor. To be left alone to live our lives in peace, to protect our families and raise our children without fear. But we've learned that sometimes peace requires strength, and sometimes strength requires being prepared for war. And if other species threaten human interests, then they'll discover what the Vrak Empire learned," Rodriguez replied calmly. "Humanity is patient, but we're not passive. We're peaceful, but we're not defenseless, and we never ever forget a threat to our children." The meeting ended with new treaties, new trade agreements, and new understanding of humanity's place in the galaxy. They weren't conquerors seeking empire. They were guardians protecting what they loved. In the months that followed, human technology began appearing in galactic markets. Medical advances, agricultural improvements, and communication systems that revolutionized interstellar society. But the military technology remained strictly human, a reminder of the price of threatening Earth's children. Director Kane returned to his mining operations on Omega-7, but now his small facility was protected by invisible guardian satellites and rapid response protocols. His children attended their classes, knowing that the most powerful military force in the galaxy stood ready to protect them. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson about sleeping giants. Sometimes the quiet neighbor was quiet because they were confident. Sometimes the peaceful species was peaceful because they were prepared for war. And sometimes the greatest strength came from having something worth protecting. Humanity had awakened its ultimate juggernaut, not for conquest, but for protection, and the galaxy was safer for it.